This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man? Louie T, welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 12 in the National Football League. Dallas Cowboys taking on the New York Football Giants. Huge matchup for these Cowboys within the NFC East division as they're on the road. The only road team in the league to not have lost this season. These Dallas Cowboys, they're 4-0 going into this game on the road, looking to improve that mark to 5-0 on the season. And it's been a great season thus far for these Dallas Cowboys, but if they're going to finish off this season the right way, they cannot, I repeat, cannot afford to lose games like this one to the Giants within the division. You want to win this division, you need to have a better mark than, of course, the other team that you're going up against. In this case, it'll be the Philadelphia Eagles that they're going to be battling this division with. And B, you need to have a better divisional record against opponents within the division than the Eagles finish with when it's all said and done. The best way to do that, take care of your business. You've already dropped a game at home to the Washington Redskins that you had no business losing. You can't lose another game to a 3-win team within this division. So you've got to find a way to sweep these Giants. This is the second time you've met the Giants on the season. Got to take care of this matchup to get to 8-3 and set up that huge showdown on Thanksgiving Day as the Philadelphia Eagles will be coming to Big D to take on these very Cowboys for the right to call themselves the leader in the clubhouse in the NFC East division. So if you're Dallas, you want to go into that game with all the momentum in the world, and you want to come out of this game healthy, and you want to do it with a Coke and a smile. And the only way to do that is to get a win. If you're the Giants, you just want to win, man. You just want a W. It's been a while since you got one of those. It's a nasty losing streak right now, something that they're really not accustomed to in New York. But for all intents and purposes, you lose this game, and it's a long shot as it is. But if you lose this game, we know the Giants have been known to go on hot streaks, find a way in the back door of the postseason, and all bets are off. Not saying that this team looks anything remotely close to one of those type of teams that have been able to do it in the past, but you never want to count the Giants out. But if they don't win this game, then you can go ahead and count the Giants out. They're finished. So, huge game for both teams. Let's jump into it. Giants with an impressive opening drive with great efficiency by Eli Manning. Shades of last week's drive to start the game off against San Francisco. I thought they were about to really score some points against that San Francisco 49ers defense after that initial opening drive that they put forth and got into the end zone. They did the same thing in this game. Cowboys got the ball first. They were able to force a stop. And then they get the football and they methodically move it down the field. Eli Manning, sharp on the drive, screen pass to Rashad Jennings. He makes a huge difference. His first game last week was the one that he came back after having that injury and that sidelined him for much of the early part of the season. And I thought he was a catalyst in his team turning things around earlier in the season. And then he goes down, and that's when the losses started to mount. So he came back last week against San Francisco. Thought he was okay, but he was still getting his sea legs back. I thought he looked much better in this game. Catches a screen pass, gets up the field. And Ruben Randle, I thought, had his best game maybe of his career last week. I mean, you don't see Ruben Randle that consistent as he was last week against San Francisco. And he caught the football. He ran after the catch. He just looked very comfortable last week. And he catches the football on this possession, catch and run, picks up a nice chunk of yardage. All of that sets up a 6-yard ODB, Odell Beckham Jr. touchdown grab at 7-0. The Giants up on top. Beautiful route by the young fella as he comes down into the end zone. Make sure he comes under control, sits down in zone coverage, and finds a nice comfy spot in the end zone. Eli finds him as he scans the field at 7-0. Giants on top early in this game. Cowboys respond with a Dan Bailey field goal to make it 7-3. Cowboys trailing as we head to the second quarter. ODB with 2 sick grabs, and oh my goodness, as an ex-wide receiver, and no, I did not play at the collegiate level or anything like that, played in high school, and you know, I always take a look at the receiver position because it's one that I played before myself, and I know the nuances of the position and what it takes to, you know, what it's going to take from you to be successful. Not everybody is blessed with the same abilities or attributes. In the case of Odell Beckham Jr., everyone's not blessed with huge hands. He's got basically baseball mitts for hands. And so, you know, he's not a big guy. He's not 6'3", 6'4", you know. So it's surprising to see a guy of his stature with hands that big. And so, you know, all receivers aren't created equal. And he's got a distinct advantage at the receiver position. And I said this when he came into the league. I thought that of all the receivers in the draft, this includes Sammy Watkins and all the rest of those guys, Kelvin Benjamin, Mike Evans. I said he right now is the most polished and ready to go receiver of all of the receivers. And I thought, to be honest, he was the best receiver, the one that was going to have the biggest impact right away. Now, I couldn't foresee the injury that he would have in training camp that would keep him out the first 5 or 6 weeks of the season, but I thought that this kid could come in and have an immediate impact because of his ability to run routes, his quickness and his sudden change of pace, and his ability to shift it down, his ability to take off. He's got great agility and the ability to start and stop at the drop of a hat. And not only that, he catches the football as clean as anybody I've seen come out into the draft in the last 5 or 6 years. I mean, we haven't seen a guy catch the football this cleanly in a very long time, and I was impressed with everything that I saw from him at LSU. The only thing that I questioned was his long distance speed. I didn't think he was as fast as advertised. I saw him at the combine. I saw what he did. It didn't seem like, I didn't see that on tape, but I said everything else is there. And I've been blown away by this kid since he's gotten into the league, and everything that I said about him coming into the league has rang true. And these 2 catches right here, I think they epitomize what he is as a football player. The first one is an excellent route, first of all. It's a simple Z out, and all you're doing is you're trying to set the cornerback up and have him thinking you're going inside. You stop, you pivot, you go back outside. Eli Manning throws the football a little too far outside. He's got to extend way away from his frame. He's got to dive, leave his feet, and he makes it all look effortless as he snags the football, able to keep his body, literally keep his body parallel to the ground, snag the football, bring it into his body before he hits the ground, corral the catch so that the ball doesn't come loose when he hits the ground. Just a magnificent play. You won't see many better than that, but we thought that one was good. The play he makes literally 2 plays later is just phenomenal, and it's crazy because during warm-ups, they were talking about Odell Beckham Jr. They had done a little piece on him about his dad being, you know, a football player at LSU. His mom was a track star there, and that's where they met, and his dad was a roommate with Shaq, and they were going through the whole timeline with him and talking about his parents and how he was blessed to have the genes that he has and this, that, and the other. And as they cut back to Bob Costas as he was talking about the interview that he had with, they show a little cut of him warming up before the game, and he literally catches a football going up the field over his shoulder, one-handed grab. And I'm saying to myself, are you kidding me? He's just doing that in pregame like it's nothing? You know, they showed an array of one-handed grabs he was making. One of them was a crazy over-the-shoulder one-hand grab similar to the one we saw in the game. One was in the back of the end zone. He leaps up, snags it down. I'm like, man, that's impressive, but, you know, it's pregame. I mean, you take it for what it is, you know, and, okay, whatever. You take it with a grain of salt. It's pregame. But to see it done in the game, kids out there, practice makes perfect. And this catch was just one of the greatest things these eyes have ever seen from a catch standpoint in the National Football League. I can't think of another catch that tops this one. And it's not because of just being a one-handed grab. We've seen phenomenal one-hand grabs before. That's not what separates this catch from the rest. It's all of the components that make this play what it is. Number one, the presence of mind and the ability to stay in bounds. The whole time he's trying to track this ball in the air, I'm saying, oh, he's out of bounds, man. This doesn't count, whatever. He's out of bounds. He stepped out of bounds a long time ago. And so the whole time I'm thinking that this isn't even going to count because there's no way he didn't step out of bounds here. Okay? So that's number one. The ability to stay in bounds when the cornerback is literally trying to tackle you. And that's number two. The ability to stave off a defender who is blatantly trying to tackle you and stop you from catching the football as the official throws the hanky. So not only is he trying to stay in bounds when the cornerback is trying to force him out of bounds and tackle him at the same time, but he still needs to track the football down, all the while getting rid of a cornerback that is grabbing him and trying to pull him down to the ground and force him out of bounds at the same time. He's able to shed the cornerback, stay in bounds, track the football, and then while off balance, still reach behind him with one hand, stop the football. This wasn't a dead in the impact juggle, stop it with one hand, bring the other hand in to help. This was a boom, like almost like he had some kind of sticky tack on his hands, literally gripping the football with one hand, never ever using the other hand for assistance, falling back into the end zone, cradling the football as if nothing ever happened. Touchdown. Unbelievable. What a 43-yard, one-handed masterpiece. You won't see one better, folks. I guarantee it. Shame on you if you step to the old dirty Beckham. Cowboys, ooh, shame on you. Shame on you. 14-3. Giants up after the catch of the year. Go ahead, give him the trophy for the best play in the National Football League this season. You can't top that one if you try. And so, now the Giants are up 14-3 in this game. Cowboys do answer that barrage and that firework show that Odell Beckham Jr. put together with that drive with the two beautiful catches. With a 9-play, 77-yard drive on the ensuing possession that ends in a 3-yard Jason Witten touchdown on a shovel pass. So the Cowboys responded. They needed a touchdown right there. They needed to respond because the Giants, man, the momentum, the feeling in that building at that time, it felt like the Cowboys were going to be in a lot of trouble in this game, and they needed to respond at that moment to kind of calm everything down, gain some momentum back from the Giants, who had stolen all the momentum in the game after that huge touchdown catch by ODB. And so everything kind of settled down, and they were in this ball game, and you could tell they weren't going to go away, were these Cowboys. And so now it's 14-10. Giants still ahead, but Cowboys are right there. Giants have an answer of their own to that Cowboys drive, as the Giants started out this game red hot. Their first 3 possessions of the game, all touchdown drives, and the Cowboys defensively had no answer for what the Giants were doing. As a matter of fact, the Giants started this game 7 of 7 on third downs, just to give you an indication as to how dominant they were early in this football game. The Cowboys simply could not get off the field, and the Giants were making them pay, not in the form of field goals, but cashing them in for touchdowns, as the Giants go 11 plays, 80 yards. As I said earlier, 7 of 7 on third downs. They had another 3 third down conversions on this particular drive. And Andre Williams almost puts the football on the ground. It goes under the review, and it's determined that he does not fumble the football, or at least there's not enough conclusive evidence to suggest otherwise, which is what they call on the field, not a fumble. And so they get the football back, and then on the very next play, Andre Williams gets in the end zone to make it 21-10. Giants back on top by double figures in this game. And right now at this point, I'm not going to lie to you, I'm thinking to myself, damn, the Giants really might steal this one from the Cowboys. I don't know if the Cowboys defensively have enough in the tank, because I thought the Giants could come out and compete and make this a tough one for the Cowboys. I did. But I didn't expect them to be the front runner the entire game. I expected Dallas to jump on them, the Giants, much like the game in Dallas, where Dallas jumped on the Giants stayed close, fought with them tooth and nail, back and forth, and then Dallas ran away with it at the end. I expected a similar result here. I expected Dallas to come out, and Jason Garrett won the toss and he elected to receive. I thought the Dallas Cowboys were going to drive the football down the field, score a touchdown, Giants were going to answer, Cowboys were going to score another touchdown, Giants were going to kick a field goal, Dallas would kick a field goal, be up 17-10 at the half, and then we'd go nip and tuck from there until Dallas pulled away late in the game. That's what I was expecting. I didn't expect 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns from the Giants to start the game, 21-10 at the half, which is what we have going into the halftime break in this game. I said, wow, man, the Giants really look strong. Like they're trying to steal this game from the Cowboys. We head to the third quarter. Cowboys strike first in the second half with a 45-yard Cole Beasley catch and run for a touchdown. This has been a problem for the Giants all too often this season, as the secondary has let them down. And we know about all the injuries in the secondary. They chronicled them during the telecast about how many guys have succumbed to injury in that Giants secondary. They don't get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So guys are able to catch the football, make a move, make someone miss, and take off in that secondary. We saw it last week with Michael Crabtree catching a bang 8, a simple post route, and able to split the seam and run by the rest of the Giants secondary in route to a touchdown. We've seen teams have free access to the end zone against this Giants football team. It's one of the reasons why the Giants have struggled defensively all season long. And so you see it again here. Cole Beasley, simple catch, able to navigate his way through the defense, get into the end zone untouched essentially. It's now a 21-17 game. Cowboys right back within striking distance as the Giants looking to try to get back on track. They haven't had as much success as they had early on in the game, especially in the first half where the Cowboys basically couldn't stop them. Now the Giants can't find a way to get the offense going. But here's an opportunity for them, and this is why I think the game changed right here. Lengthy drive that has a chance to end in a touchdown ends in an interception, as Eli was playing magnificent football up until this point, but you had to know at some point Eli was going to make a mistake. That's what Eli Manning does. That's what he did here. Wide open, Preston Parker, if he hits him in stride, if he hits him in the if he hits him where he doesn't have to leave his feet, it's a touchdown. And even if, you know what, even if he has to leap to catch this football like he did on this play, even if that ball is down about 6 more inches and he's able to catch it, he still probably walks into the end zone. There was nobody within 5 to 7 yards of Preston Parker when this ball was thrown. But Eli Manning was high for some reason. I don't know why. There was no pressure on him on this particular play. He had enough space in the pocket to do what he needed to do, and he just was high on this pass. It tips off the fingertips of Preston Parker right into the waiting arms of Barry Church. He takes it all the way back towards midfield to the 48-yard line. 4 plays later, Des Bryant in the end zone, 32-yard touchdown grab. Just like that, the tables have turned in this game. Instead of the Giants going up by 11, 28-17, or even settling for a field goal and extending the lead out to a touchdown at 24-17, the Cowboys have now taken that interception and turned it into a touchdown of their own and taken the lead for the first time in this game at 24-21. So you're talking about essentially an 11-point swing in this game. I mean, you're talking about the Cowboys scoring a touchdown when the Giants could have scored a touchdown. So what you're talking about is a difference of basically 14 points is what we're talking about. I mean, you go from potentially going up by 11 to now you're down by 3. So that's a huge change in momentum in this game, and a point. At that point, I thought the Giants were done. I said they're about to fold under this pressure that the Cowboys are going to apply to them. And Eli Manning misses ODB wide open for a touchdown. On the next possession, Dallas is able to pin them deep, and Eli Manning has ODB. He beats the corner on the play, raises his hand, hey, I'm open, I'm open. Eli doesn't see him immediately. Then he comes back to him, sees him late. By that time, pressure's starting to get there, and there's a safety over the top at that point. So now that play can't be thrown. Eli ends up eating the football, takes a sack, and so he had an opportunity to make a big play, and Eli Manning just simply missed on that one, did not see him early enough in his progression, and so the Cowboys get away with one there. Giants miss a golden opportunity to seize control of this game once again as we head to the fourth quarter now. Cowboys up 24-21. Giants retake the lead with a marathon drive of 14 plays covering 93 yards as Adrian Robinson scores his first career touchdown on a 1-yard play-action fake touchdown. It's now 28-24. G-Men back on top with 3 minutes left to go in the game. And so you're thinking to yourself, man, did the Giants just steal one? You know, it seems like it's always down to Tony Romo with the football with a chance to win. And I always tell Cowboys fans, this is why you want Tony Romo on your team. We talk about Tony Romo and his failures in late game situations, but he's got way more fourth quarter comebacks and wins than he does failures in the fourth quarter. The only thing about it is the failures are so magnified and we make such a big deal about them that they overshadow how many times this guy has come through in the clutch for this Cowboys team. And I fully expected him to come through here because this isn't a big enough stage for him to fail. If this were for the division, maybe he would have thrown an interception. If this was against a good Giants team, not a bad Giants team, maybe he throws an interception here. But because the Giants are a bad football team, I expected him to go right down the field and do exactly what he did. And that's exactly what Tony Romo did. He orchestrates a beautiful 7-play, 80-yard game-winning touchdown drive in which the offensive line was downright dominant. I mean, Chris Collinsworth talked about this offensive line reminding him of the glory days with the big, Great Wall in Texas, and that line was legendary. The stuff that offensive line legends are made of. This line has the makings of that. I mean, the pocket that Tony Romo had on 2 of these throws, ridiculous, insane. I mean, one of the plays, they actually put the clock on him. He had 7.2 seconds to find a receiver. Who's covering for 7.2 seconds? You let me know when you find a cornerback in this league that can cover somebody for 7.2 seconds. And I'll find you the best corner ever. And so, somebody was coming open, and he finds Des Bryant in the end zone for a 14-yard touchdown in the back of the end zone. Again, you can't ask a cornerback to cover for that long, and Tony was able to find a beautiful throw in the corner of the end zone. Des able to catch it, get his feet down. It's now 31-28, and they did that in 1 minute and 59 seconds. So, for as efficient as they were and as quickly as they scored, they still left Eli Manning plenty of time, and with, I believe, 2 timeouts, plenty of time to go down the field and do whatever it is they felt like they needed to do to win this game. I mean, they still had 1 minute and 10 seconds left on the clock, minute and 1 second left on the clock, so the Giants had ample time to go down the field and get a touchdown. I don't recall if they had any timeouts left or not, but I believe they still had timeouts left after that possession. But either way, the Giants weren't able to get it done, and you knew they weren't going to score. After Dallas scored that touchdown, they weren't going to go down the field and get it done. It just wasn't in the cards. And you knew once Dallas caught them that first time that it was going to be tough for this Giants team to overcome that adversity and win this game. But they did. But then Dallas came back, took the lead once again, and final. And they got it done. And this is a Cowboys team that you expected them to win this game, and they did win this game. 31-28. They get that final stop of the game to secure the victory. Cowboys go to 8-3 on the season. Giants drop to 3-8 on the season. And that was a huge win for Dallas. Coming off the bye, they're basically able to stay healthy. Had a couple of nicks and bruises coming out of the game, but they'll be fine. Got a quick turnaround Thursday. Got a Thanksgiving matchup against the Eagles. The first time these two teams have met this season. Both coming into this game at 8-3. So that is going to be a huge matchup. I cannot wait. You know I'm an NFC East guy, so I cannot wait to watch that football game. That's going to be some excellent football. For the Giants, another heartbreaking loss. And the losses just continue to pile up. You ask yourself, will Tom Coughlin be able to stave off this one? Because this one is going to turn out bad. They're probably going to be a 6-10, 5-11 football team when it's all said and done. That's not something that Tom Coughlin has ever done as Giants head coach. He's always found a way to win 8 games, to win 7 games. He's never been 6-10 or 5-11 or 3-13 or 4-12. That's a distinct possibility this year. And so going to be interesting to see if he can hold on to his job this time around. And he's been able to fight off, all the critics and the naysayers and stave off being fired and handed the pink slip for a while now. And he's always responded by winning a Super Bowl. But I don't know if he'll be able to get away. And Jerry Reese might be on the hot seat too. He's GM in New York. So a lot of questions to be answered in New York. We'll see. Only time will tell what happens there with that situation. But Cowboys riding high. They get it done. They're 8-3. Huge matchup on the horizon against the Eagles. Can't. Bart Scott. Can't wait. That's going to do it for the breakdown of Sunday Night Football. Giants and Cowboys. What happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the Lab Room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 12 in the National Football League. See you in a bit.